Alright, boom, what up? We're back here with Brother Peak V2's captain, SnakeG9, head of the group stage. It's 4:34 a.m. What are your thoughts on the draft overall?
I think it was good. There was definitely some interesting picks across the board. Um, Lev's team is interesting. Uh, Tarl with his two no-brainer picks were interesting. Um, it's just, I mean, we said it during the draft that like pretty much after the first round, pickings got very slim, and not necessarily means that like you're gonna be playing 4v5 or whatever, but that the skill disparity, at least on paper, is drastic. So, I mean, I feel like it came out about as expected, apart from some interesting picks earlier, like some people beating projections and getting drafted much earlier than many would expect.
Yeah, fair enough. So, after the draft, are there any teams or players you particularly have your eye on? Like anyone who you think's gonna like really surprise or maybe flop a bit? Teams or players?
Uh, Teams or players? Yeah, I'm trying to pull it. I'm pulling up the teams. I think a player that's surprised at least from some of the games that we've played, like MM or 10 mans, Demon10 and K Fox. I think both have, at least personally, have overshot my expectations and projections. Um, Demon10 especially. I mean, he's does a lot of stupid shit, but he can aim pretty well, which that'll in these majors will get you somewhere. And same thing with Carl. Like he'll have his moments. He might not understand the game, terribly high amount or much in comparison to how much he can get a good understanding of Valorant. But I still think that he will play a pretty good event, hopefully. But some of the ones I'm curious to see, like I have never played with this Edwin character, so like I'm curious to see how he'll play. And um, Mutian I've never seen play like CS, so some of these people are, to me, either entirely new or new in a Counter Strike environment. So interested to see how having them in the server will play out.
Yeah. So you reached the final before, so you've got some experience in the majors. Without having played any games yet, what do you think is a reasonable goal for your team in the event, like shooting chip or bust, or is there some other things to consider maybe?
I think that this is historically in some of the CS majors on paper. There's been one team that like should make in every major historically. You can look at all the team lists and you can point to the one team that you're like, if they don't make/win the final, they fucked up heavy. Um, I don't necessarily think there's any teams like that this event. I think it's very open. Um, I think it's for us. It's got to taking one step at a time, playing together for the first time, um, as a group, but also for some of us. Like I don't think I've played CS with Gary. If I have, at least not recently. Same with Harrison. So just like getting used to playing with them in a Counter Strike setting. But I think its big thing is just take it one game at a time. I mean, I think we locked in the schedule to play um, Will and Lev's team tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, Monday or some shit. I don't know. Monday, I think. So I think it's one game at a time. Try to handle these BO1s best we can, and kind of while we're doing that, try to scrap in a win or two and develop a understanding of what maps we might want to lean into or avoid going into the tournament, or going into the best of three stage, I suppose.
Yeah. So speaking of that, you mentioned you're gonna play Tylenol's team and Han's team in the coming days. Um, you know, are there any interesting factors or wrinkles that you foresee coming in those specific matches?
I think against Han's team, I think it's gonna be a. I think it'll be in my head the challenge or problem will come from not knowing how some of these players are going to perform because I've never seen them play CS. Like in the case of Edwin or Highway, I've never seen them play, or haven't seen them play in a long time, such as Mason. Right, I think the last time I played with Mason was maybe a year before CS2 came out. So I curious to see how if he hasn't been playing the game as much in those past 3 years that I 2 years that I haven't played with him, how he may have improved or compares to how he used to play. And then for Lev's team, I think the concern there is I think they'll be a smart team. Lev can lock in and read the game pretty well when he wants to. And so can Nietzsche, assuming he has maintained some of that ability to read situations and process happenings on the map, like he used to in the back in the days when he played a lot more Counter Strike. So I think that will be a game that we will have to be mentally a little sharper for than the Han game because I think that on paper, at least from the Valorant experiences with some of the people on Han's team, they're more aim centric players. At least from the ones I know, like Highway is more of an aimer, Jip's more of an aimer. Carl's can be an aimer, but kind of a thinker, but he might not be as much of a thinker in this game because he doesn't know as much in this game. So, aimer. So I think that one will be one that we'll mechanically have to be sharp. And then Lev's team will be one that we still need to be mechanically sharp, but we need to be more mentally sharp, in my opinion.
Yeah, those, that's some great insight. So, aside from your own matches, like which matchups among the other teams are you looking most forward to seeing and why? Like, especially maybe when we get to the playoffs, you get the series play going. Like, what matchup do you really want to see in like a full series and why?
I think um, I think Lev's team is there's two that I'm kind of interested to see. Um, and one would be Lev's team against Tarl's team, because as I said, Lev and Neitz can both kind of read the game pretty well, and Tarl historically has always been like a good person to break down a situation or break down a round, map, call, whatever it may be. So I think that those of the five teams, those will be the two tactical teams, right? But I'd also like to see Lev's team against Matt's team because I think that'll be just a fun high firepower,
Yeah,
high high firepower, but still like Matt's a very mechanically strong player, Lev's a very mechanically strong player. And their number twos and number threes, I would say, match up pretty evenly in sense of ability, mechanical ability. So I think that will be like a has the opportunity to be a multi-map thriller with a lot of back and forth moments because people like especially Matt and Lev have the capability to pull some crazy shit off. Um, you know, Lev and Matt both, but Lev especially with that high sense of his has the ability to pull off 180s and clear angles that you wouldn't be expecting to be cleared that fast. And next thing you know, he's already cleared four corners and got two, like stuff like that. So I think that'll be a fun one because it should be a very like mechanically like lots of fireworks going on. But I think that the matchup between him and Tar will also be fun to watch, just to see how they try to read the map, play the game, and approach the T side or counter aggressions and stuff like that on the CT side.
yeah. It's obviously just gonna be a BO1, but Lev and Matt's team are actually gonna play later today. Um, that'll be the first game of the tournament to kick it off, so we'll get a sneak peek of what that'll look like in a best of one, at least. Um, yeah, so that's gonna be it for this interview. Brother Peak V2 is gonna play against Tylenol's team, fourth place, and Han's team, three fifths compromise, early next week, so Monday and Tuesday. So they'll have their
I
first two
think they're both
matches.
Monday.
What's up?
I think they're both Monday. We play Han 9 p.m. Monday and Lev 10 p.m. Monday, back to
Oh,
back.
okay. All right. There you
So
go
it's
then.
like basically a BO3.
There you go then. They'll play their first two BO1s on Monday, and like we mentioned, um, Lev and Matt's team will play later today by the time you guys see this video. So probably catch up with SnakeG9 again after his games on Monday, and we'll see you guys in the next interview.